Hello, welcome to the morning news. Despite confirming that peace talks will continue, Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos has ordered a resumption of air raids on camp of FARC rebels. Wednesday's announcement comes after a confrontation between guerrillas and Colombia's military killed 10 members of government forces. While FARC rebels had been abiding by unilateral ceasefire since December, Santos called a one-month stop to air raids in February, which he then extended for another month. A spokesman for the guerrillas said that the government's refusal to call a ceasefire is incoherent.
We express our concern for the event that occurred in the Cauca, that from any angle has its roots at the incoherent policy of the government to order military operations against a guerrilla that is in truce. We express condolences to the families of these fellow citizens and call on the nation to reflect on this matter.
Protests in over 230 cities across the United States marked the largest demonstrations by low-wage workers in the country's history. Tens of thousands called for a raise to a minimum $15 an hour wage in the food industry, up from the current federal minimum wage is $7 to $25 an hour. Protesters say it's still little to survive on. Organized by the Service Employees International Union, the Fight for 15 campaign targeted fast food chains like McDonald's. They said that they would raise wages by only $1 an hour at 10% of their 14,300 locations. Low-wage farm workers and day laborers in Mexico have also been organizing and around their conditions, demanding an end to what they call modern-day slavery. Our correspondent Clayton Kahn has more.
While it may look like a family reunion in Mexico City's airport, they are in fact spokesmen of protesting farm workers from the country's north. They've come to the capital to denounce what they say are modern-day slave conditions that day laborers suffer across the country.
Many thousands of Mexicans, many farm workers, are toiling and suffering in this country, principally in the Valley of San Quintin, where workers' rights are vilely stomped on.
Rights organizations and indigenous farm workers echo the denouncement. They affirm that agricultural companies lure migrant workers with false promises of quality labor conditions. They say the practice is prevalent in at least 19 states.
We are suffering. We are migrating because there are no... One is sad in their community. There is no water.
In March, farm workers in the San Quintin Valley in the northern state of Baja California organized a region-wide strike bringing the conditions of Mexico's agricultural sector to national and international attention. For a 10-hour day, workers make $7. In San Quintin, there are 5 major national agricultural companies with U.S. capital that employ more than 80,000 workers. Analysts argue that the absence of support for workers by local authorities is due to their relationship to the companies.
The businessmen and political class are one and the same. They are tightly intertwined with their interests so that public policy that is produced in the state, well, it is destined to favor the big corporations.
The workers from San Quintin have sent this commission to the capital, hoping that federal authorities will hear out their demands and act. However, they affirm that they will keep up their struggle for as long as it takes if no measures are taken. Clayton Kahn, teleSUR, Mexico City.
Migration is also impacting the island of St. Lucia, which is now dealing with its first official case of human trafficking. For this story, we go to our correspondent, Alison Kantich.
60 men and women from as far as Nepal and the Philippines are impacted by St. Lucia's first recorded human trafficking incident. The students were promised studies in St. Lucia with internships in the United States upon completion. They are now being deported, but many say they used their life savings for a dream of a better life.
We came here for the education, paying a lot of money. I have my parents, they mortgaged loan. They have taken loan from the banks. Even I have no homes if I go back my land. So that I just want to say that why they are sending us back without hearing.
Good Samaritan Margaret Odin has been helping the stranded students, giving them shelter free of charge at her guest house in the north of St. Lucia. She says she feels sorry for them and hopes they will not all be deported.
The defendant has a lawyer, but these people have nobody represent them. No legal aid, no human rights, nobody. It's just directly with the government. it's the same government that's shooing them away. Who is really there to embrace and make sure that they get their legal rights? What is due to them? Humanly way possible.
4 men were arrested and charged with human trafficking in this case. They have been denied bail. St. Lucia has sought assistance from the United Nations International Office for Migration in this landmark matter. Education experts are calling for a more rigid regulatory framework in order to ensure this situation does not recur. Alison Kentish, teleSUR, St. Lucia.
260 African migrants were detained near the Libyan city of Misurata 2 days after the boat they were attempting to embark on was shipwrecked. They were transferred to a detention center for undocumented migrants by the Coast Guard. Some 500 people were on board the Italy-bound ship before it sank off the coast of Libya, killing some 400. Sudan extends voting in the nationwide elections for president and the legislative assembly due to low turnout. The National Elections Commission has announced Wednesday. Polls will stay open on Thursday in all districts, while voting in Darfur State's Khartoum constituency will continue until Saturday. While the Commission has not released the figures on turnout, estimates from some international observers say it could be as low as 25%. As South Korea marks 1 year since the Seoul ferry tragedy, President Park Geun-hye said the government would work to raise the sunken ship as soon as possible. 300 of the 476 people on board died when the ferry capsized on a routine overnight voyage from Incheon to the holiday island of Jeju. The tragedy sparked anger against the government's handling of case, especially after the ferry was to have been structurally unsound and overloaded. And a former American football player was sentenced to life in prison without parole Wednesday in a case that shocked the sports world in the United States. Former New England Patriots star Aaron Hernandez was found guilty of first-degree murder of a semi-pro football player 2 years ago. Hernandez had signed a 5-year, $40 million contract before being arrested. The former tight end also faces charges of killing 2 men in a drive-by shooting in 2012. More ideas on telesurtv.net/English. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.